I'll remind you once again, as is on a little document here, the math is that $1 trillion equals $10,000 per each and every one of 100 million people. Or if you see $1 trillion, you multiply that by 10,000, and for every one, and that is the cost to each and every one of 100 million people divided equally. Or $2 trillion is equal to $20,000 per each and every one of 100 million people. The healthcare industry says that it collects $4.4 trillion. That's $44,000 per each and every one of 100 million people. Think about that for a minute. And I don't think that includes the military. That's more. Think about that for a minute. These are the things that are hidden from you. These are the things that don't exist in reality. They are fantasies and delusions created by the university diploma, so that they get whatever they want, and do whatever they want, and lie about whatever they want, to hide whatever they want under the blanket of government and courts and media and everything else, which they control. At what point did you ever find anyone in those positions that did not have a university diploma? They all do. It is the connecting factor. It's not Republican, it's not Democrat. That's just a game. So, what we have to do is understand that they got away with it because they laundered their money. They laundered all that counterfeiting in Wall Street and other places. Anything that the government, that our politicians did not spend, the military did not spend, that the universities did not spend, was given to the Wall Street to launder, so you wouldn't realize that this is just fake. And even though you knew it was fake, you said, "I don't care." Again and again and again, you said, "I don't care." And so now we have a mountain of lies and a nation that's completely thrown away, in a world that's surrendered to the inevitable war that will end it. And it's all because of lies, and more lies and more lies and more lies. So how did they get away with it to the rest that didn't get the money? Well, they made you slaves. They didn't actually pay you with anything. They stole from the future. That's how you got to be wealthy. Lowered the claim of wealthy. You said, I am wealthy with numbers, but the numbers have no place in reality. The resources are in your garbage dumps. Poison all over everything. The death of an entire world because of you. Really, the death of an entire world because of you. So how did they really sneak it past to the majority? And the answer to that is they controlled the price of everything. By collecting data on agriculture and collecting data on gasoline and oil and everything, they were able to manipulate that by selling or not selling that product to international sources, or whatever they wanted to do, to control the price of what it took for you to survive. They know what it takes for you to survive, and that's what they do. But of course, it takes resources, and the reality is that there's no possibility. There's absolutely no possibility you can continue as you are. There's no resources on this finite planet to do that. And the world itself can't survive what you do. So it looks like this is the end of the world. Not because I say it, because the evidence says so. So at that point you look at what are the predictions for the end of the world, and of course the Aztecs predicted that in the spring of 2012 the world would end. And of course the Jewish text, or the Old Testament of the Bible, predicted that when the great abomination rose, the world would end. And both of them turned out to be wrong, because the end result of that is, that's Daniel 12, in case you wanted to know. Because the end result of that is that God did not allow the world to die at that point in time. And the great abomination was the San Francisco Lawrence Livermore Laboratories created a nuclear, well, not a nuclear, but a laser machine that they claim creates 180 million degrees of heat in one spot at 500,000 psi. And they thought they would, ignite atoms on fire. That was their intent, to ignite atoms on fire just like the sun. But it didn't happen because it was not allowed to happen. But that doesn't mean that it won't happen in the future. So the Old Testament was gone. That doesn't exist. And I'm not a religious guy. And I sure ain't a believer. But I do accept what is true. And what is true is what is true. And, every life on this planet is a miracle. You can't do it. And neither can I. Not a hair, nothing. Life was not built one piece at a time. It's not worth the discussion, because if you don't understand that a quadrillion things that were put into place to make our lives had to be in order, and had to be disciplined, had to be timed, and all that. If you don't understand that, you're just so stupid. There's no point in talking to you. So anyway, we get to the New Testament, and like I said, I'm not big on that, and I'm not going to sit here and read for you what they say, but I will read a little bit of it, because that's just the facts of it. So, and like I say, the Old Testament did predict that there would be a moment when life was put to the test. And so we are again at that moment. And if you want to read Revelation 3 and it's Church of Lacedonia, it's the last one. That's us. That's our time right here, right now. And the each of these churches were periods in time. So we're going to go past that, and then we're going to go up to just up to the seven seals, and the predictions of all that could go bad, and just kind of discard that, because the book of Revelation divides the end of life on earth into two parts. And the first part is what happens if men design what is going to happen, because their only answer is war. And this, that's chapters 1 through 11. And the alternate to that, or the second part of that, or the third, Old Testament, New Testament, the third version of what happens when the earth comes to a deciding point. And that starts at Revelation 12 and goes to the end, and that is what happens if women are allowed to take over control of what happens to this earth. Because their answer cannot be war, men will win. Their answer has never been war, because men will win. They don't have the physical strength to be war. They have to accept that law is their protection. Law is their answer. Law is their method of society and everything else. So this is about law then. And Revelation 12, even if you don't believe it and don't, doesn't matter to me. I went to, I decided 19 years ago that men are never going to change, that there's no hope for this world, so I asked to just go, just be taken into eternity. And stood at the edge of that, but was said, nope, not done yet. So I had to turn back. Anyway, in looking for an answer, I turned to what would happen if women were allowed to rule. And I don't believe women are, extra special in any form or fashion in far as leading this earth goes. They make lots of poor decisions. Poor decisions. But we must have different. They are different. We must have law, not more, and that is their basic elements. So, what happens if women do rule? And the answer to that is, of course, that I opened the spiritual door to women, and there were costs to that, which is Revelation 12. The great and wondrous sign of a woman in heaven is she's standing on me anyway. And then we can go past the miscellaneous descriptions here, which are all the people that are going to bitch and scream and moan that you can't do this or you can't do that because they don't want it. They want what they want, and that's what they want, and they don't want anything but what they want. But the world is not going to allow that. It's not going to allow that. There are too many people. You took too much. You damaged too much. You failed too much. So then we run into the what happens now version of that. And I'll just let you read that for your own, but I'll remind you that you have to read it in the terms of the people who wrote it. And the people who wrote it did not have missiles. The people that wrote it did not have bolts or tires or rims or planes or missiles or atoms or any of that other stuff. Didn't have that. Didn't have pollution, chemicals, and means to ignite the earth on fire. And of course, if we get to World War III, if you don't stop them, we will. When we get to World War III, then that's just men chose. Women refused, and in that case, we get to World War III, and atomic bombs take care of lots of things. And biological weapons will be released, and they take care of lots of things. And the mutilation of nature will destroy lots of things, and that is Armageddon, because Armageddon is nature and chaos. And of course, as you destroy things, the water will not be available, and then there will be apocalypse, which is the war for water, and just 1,000 different things. And then, of course, there's Revelation 12, which was, starts out as a great prostitute. That was, the university in COVID, in actual fact. But I'm in here too, as verse 3, I think it is. She, the woman of the spiritual woman that comes onto our planet or comes into our lives, takes over control of my life, and actually she has done that. More than you'd think. But after that comes the fall of Babylon, and of course this United States is Babylon in this particular writing, because just take a look at the writing and you can see that's it. So then we have whatever is left of that, and whatever you're going to do with that, and whatever you're going to believe with that. And prophecy is not a guarantee of anything. It's a prophecy, an expectation, based upon the facts of what is or is not true today, what is or is not true back then, what they did in fact. It's not a dream. A vision is not a dream, but it is a reality of things that you can't really do for yourself. So they're helped to understand what it is that they're trying to write, but it's made so that people don't just go believing in it. Belief is bad, and religion will say, "I hate you," because they base their work and their money on belief. That's what they do. That's what religion is: belief, belief, belief. I got a book, but universities have a book too. Every religion has a book. And all the books are written by men in the language of men and the interpretation of men. And so your book has flaws, no matter what book it is. And of course religion doesn't like that. They like to believe what they want to believe, just like the rest, and they have held that the university is their God, even though they wouldn't admit to it. And so we end up with, this is about life, and this is about our situation. as a world. And as a world, we have created all the things that will cause our own extinction. The university has provided them for us. We can make ourselves extinct. We can ignite atoms on fire, and there's trillions of dollars spent, and there are things around the world, like the dogs too. Me too, me too, me too. And they all try to do the same thing, because they all figure that that's the only solution to what the future is, because our heat is overwhelming the planet, believe it or not. Doesn't matter, it's true. But the end result is we have to stop releasing that much heat. That is the choice. It is not a choice to bring the same fires here as on the sun. That's just extinction, by the worst of it, in fact. But it might be better off than the cost of war and extinction by other means, because at least it would be quick.